For over 2,500 years, from the first Persian Empire in 500 BC to the modern state of Iran today, the most powerful empires on Earth have tried to erase one civilization. It was burned, conquered, divided, humiliated. Alexander the Great marched into its heart and set its capital on fire. Rome fought it for centuries, desperate to break it. New empires rose from the desert and crushed it completely. By every rule of history, it should have disappeared, but it didn't. It came back, again and again and again. Each time, different. Each time, harder to destroy. Today, that same civilization still stands, not as the largest empire, but as one of the most difficult powers in the world to defeat. So the question is not what happened to Persia. The question is, why has no one ever been able to destroy it? Around 550 BC, a leader emerged who didn't just conquer land. He reshaped how empires worked. Cyrus the Great united the Persian tribes and turned them into a force the world had never seen. But his real weapon wasn't just military power. It was strategy. Instead of destroying his enemies, he absorbed them. Instead of erasing cultures, he respected them. Instead of ruling only with fear, he ruled with intelligence. And because of that, Persia expanded at an unbelievable speed. Kingdom after kingdom fell. Media, Lydia, Babylon. Not just through force, but through acceptance. People didn't just submit to Persia. Many chose to live under it. This wasn't just conquest. It was control without constant rebellion. A system designed not only to win wars, but to hold power. For a moment, Persia looked unstoppable, but every empire that rises too fast eventually meets something it cannot control. 2 centuries later, Persia turned toward the west, and there, it faced something it didn't fully understand. Not a single empire, but many small, defiant enemies. The Greco-Persian Wars were supposed to be easy. Persia had more men, more resources, more power, but it lacked flexibility. Greek forces fought differently, fast, independent, unpredictable, and slowly. Persia's momentum began to break. Then came the final Adar, Alexander the Great. In just a few years, he shattered the Persian army in decisive battles and marched straight into the heart of the empire. Cities collapsed, armies dissolved, and Persepolis burned. The symbol of Persian power reduced to ashes. To the world, it was over. The greatest empire of its time destroyed. But Persia was not gone. It was waiting. For the next several centuries, Persia returned, not as the same empire, but as something more resilient. It became the only power capable of standing against Rome. The Roman-Persian wars were not a single conflict, but generations of war. This was no longer about rapid conquest. This was about endurance. Persia adapted its military, developing elite cavalry, defensive depth, and strategies designed to resist rather than overwhelm. Rome attacked. Persia held. Rome advanced. Persia adapted. Neither side could destroy the other. And in that endless struggle, Persia evolved. It learned that survival against a superpower required something different: patience, balance, and the ability to absorb pressure without breaking. This was no longer an empire trying to dominate the world. This was a civilization learning how to survive it. But even that would not be enough, because the next collapse would be total. In the 7th century, a new force rose from the Arabian deserts, fast, focused, unstoppable. The Muslim conquest of Persia struck when Persia was already weakened by centuries of war. This time, there was no recovery. Defeats came rapidly. Armies collapsed. The empire disintegrated. For the second time in its history, Persia was completely destroyed. No throne, no empire, no power. By every historical pattern, this was the end. But something remained. Not the army, not the kings, the identity. Persian culture adapted instead of disappearing. It merged into a new world, a new religion, a new system. And in doing so, it survived, because Persia had learned something deeper than warfare. You can lose your empire and still not lose yourself. Nearly 900 years later, Persia rose again, but it was no longer the same. It returned with a new identity, a new purpose, and a new kind of power. The Ottoman-Safavid Wars marked this rebirth. This time, Persia wasn't just fighting for land. It was fighting for identity. The Safavid rulers transformed the region into the center of Shia Islam, creating a powerful ideological boundary between themselves and their enemies. War with the Ottoman Empire became constant. But this was no longer just military conflict. It was psychological, cultural, religious, and once again, Persia adapted. It used belief as a weapon, unity as defense, identity as strategy. Defeating Persia was no longer about destroying armies. It meant breaking a system of belief, and that is far more difficult to achieve. In the modern era, the battlefield changed again. Empires faded, but pressure remained. Foreign powers interfered, influence grew, control weakened. Then in 1979, everything shifted. The Iranian Revolution didn't just change a government, but it redefined the entire system. Iran was no longer just a nation. It became an ideological state. Almost immediately, war followed. The Iran-Iraq War was brutal, exhausting, and unforgiving. Years of fighting, mass casualties, no clear victory. But once again, the pattern repeated. Iran endured, not through overwhelming power, but through resistance, through belief, through sacrifice, through the refusal to collapse. And when the war ended, Iran was still standing, weaker in some ways, but stronger in something far more important: experience. Because by now, Persia had fully transformed. It no longer needed to dominate. It only needed to survive. Today, Iran does not fight like an ancient empire. It does not rely on massive invasions or territorial expansion. Instead, it operates differently, strategically, quietly, indirectly. Influence replaces armies. Alliances replace invasions. Patience replaces speed. What once was a visible empire has become something far harder to confront, a system built on survival, not conquest. And that is what makes it powerful. Because for 2,500 years, every enemy has believed the same thing: that this time, Persia is finished. From Alexander the Great to modern global powers, that belief has always returned. And every time, it has been proven wrong, because Persia does not need to win every war. It only needs to outlast its enemies. And history has shown it always does.